So we have started with the unit 1, and in that unit 1 we have seen the first part as a vectors and the second part as differential equations, ordinary differential equations. And now we are going to start with the third part of the unit 1, which is laws of motion. So Newton's laws of motion we are going to study with. So before going to this Newton's laws of motion, we must know what is the frame of reference. As we all know that we are dealing with a mechanics 1. So mechanics is nothing but the any object which is moving from one place to another place. We are dealing with all the properties of its motion. Like we are interested in velocity, we are interested in acceleration, we are interested in displacement. So anything which is moving, whether it is a planet revolving around the sun, or whether it is a, suppose this is a sun, this is earth, or whether it is a, so this is a nucleus, whether there is a electron moving around the nucleus, or if there is a any particle moving in a linear motion from A to B, if there is a car traveling from one place to another place. So whenever there is a motion, we come across with the mechanics term. And in mechanics we calculate the displacement, velocity, acceleration, energy, everything, like momentum. Okay, so these things we are going to deal with the mechanics. And the mechanics, the basics of this mechanics is the laws of motion. Okay, so this mechanics follows few laws of motion, and all those laws of motion are into the frame of the reference. So what is the meaning of the frame of a reference? Frame of a reference is nothing but the coordinate system which you use. Frame of reference could be inertial or it could be non-inertial. So the frame of reference which is at rest, it is called as a inertial frame of a reference, and the non-inertial frame of reference, the frame of the reference which is moving with some constant velocity. So this is called as a non-inertial frame of the reference. So all the Newton's laws of motion, we are going to deal with the Newton's laws of motion. So all these Newton's laws of motion are valid in an inertial frame of the reference. For example, if this frame of reference is fixed, okay, and if there is any particle with a constant velocity v, okay, so for this particle, this frame of reference is fixed, so the particle is in an inertial frame of reference. Now suppose if this particle is moving, let me call this particle as A. Now if this particle is moving with a constant velocity v, okay, and now suppose if this frame of reference is also moving with the same constant velocity v, then also such a type of motion is called as a motion in an inertial frame of the reference, because as the particle is moving with the same velocity as that of the frame of the reference, the frame of the reference is fixed with respect to this particle. Okay, so for this particle, this is a non-accelerated frame. So such types of the frames are called as a inertial frame of the reference. So this frame of reference is fixed and this frame of reference is moving with some constant velocity. Consider that x, y and z, this is fixed, so we can call it as a inertial frame of reference. and this x dash, y dash and z dash, these are this is nothing but the, so if it is moving with some constant velocity, let me call it as a non-inertial frame of reference. Now if I have one particle, say A, and if this particle is moving with some constant velocity v, and as this frame of reference is moving with this constant velocity, same constant velocity v, then this x dash, y dash and z dash, this will become the inertial frame of the reference for this particle. Whereas this x, y and z, even if it is at the fixed position, then also it will act as a non-inertial frame of reference for this velocity, for this particle A. So let me give you the example of the inertial and non-inertial frame of the references. So let me draw a car to explain you the frame of the reference. Suppose this is a car, okay, and now the car is moving with some constant velocity, say v, okay. So the person which is sitting over here, according to him, this seat is fixed, the mirrors are fixed, the roof is fixed, okay. So according to him, the remaining things are in an inertial frame of the reference, or he is, so this seat is also inertial frame of the reference for the driver, and the things which are moving along with him with the same velocity, so all the things are in an inertial frame of the reference. But if he sees some person which is standing outside, okay, so according to him, this person is in a non-inertial frame of the reference, because according to him, he is moving in a, so this minus v direction. If the person sitting in the car, he sees the person which is standing or which is at a rest, so this person is in a non-inertial frame of the reference for this person, okay. And all the Newton's laws of motion are obeyed in an inertial frame of the reference, and for that inertial frame of the reference, you must know that if the particle or if the coordinate system is fixed, or if it is moving with a constant velocity with the particle, then it is called as an inertial frame of the reference. Now the Newton's first law says that every body continues its state of the rest or of its continuous motion unless and until it is acted upon by a force. So let me write it here. Every body continues its state of rest or of continuous motion unless and until acted upon by a force. For example, if you take a stone, if it is sitting over here, so it will continue its state of rest for years and years unless and until it is acted upon by a force. Okay, now this is a very common sense. We have experienced it, whether there is a pen lying on the ground, okay, whatever it is, a paper lying on the ground, so it will continue its state of the rest or of the continuous motion unless and until it is acted upon by force. Suppose there is a pen lying on the, or the pencil lying on the ground, so it will not move unless and until you pick it up, okay. So this is a very common sense, and but this common sense was first time framed by the Newton in some 16th century, which was a very grateful thing, okay, to understand the relation between the motion of the particle and the force acted upon it to realize that and to write it in the form of the statements. It was a genius work done by the Newton. Okay, so actually right nowadays we simply call it when a force is applied and the block moves or there is a motion, but he was the first who told that. So yes, if there is a body, if it is a moving, so there is some relation between the force and the motion of the body. Okay, it was a great mind. Okay, so what Newton said, that every body continues its state of rest or of a continuous motion unless and until it is acted upon by a force. So this is called as a law of inertia. So the tendency of the body to remain in its state, it is called as a inertia. So tendency of the body to remain in the state, whether it is a of rest or of a continuous motion, to continue the state. So this is tendency is nothing but the inertia. Okay, now the Newton's second law says that so the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force acting on it. So this force is directly proportional to the rate of change of the momentum. Okay, so what is the meaning of a momentum now? So this momentum is defined as mass into the velocity. Now suppose any body which is having a greater mass or a smaller velocity, it will create a greater momentum. For example, if a stone of a very high mass, say 100 kg, it even injure you with a small velocity, then also you will get hurt because it will create a large momentum. Or if a small bullet with a less mass and a very high kinetic energy, so or the high velocity, it will create a more momentum. Okay, so this is the, and any particle which is having a mass and velocity is said to have the momentum. So any particle which possesses mass and velocity is said to be create the momentum, and this momentum depends on the mass and the velocity. If you have a greater mass and a smaller velocity, then also the higher momentum will be created. Or if you have a small mass and a greater velocity, then also high momentum will be created. And we are using this concept of the momentum in a day-to-day life, and it has a lot of applications. We will speak on those on some another day. Okay, but right now we are dealing with the Newton's second law of the motion, which says that the rate of change of this momentum is directly proportional to the force. If I write it as a, or if I remove this proportionality sign, so it will become dp upon dt. And if I am trying to put the value of this p as mv, okay, so k into, so this m is constant, so it will be dv by dt, which is called as a k into m into a, where a is the acceleration, so rate of change of velocity with respect to time. Or I can write f is equal to ma for k nearly equal to 1. So this is one more relation drawn from the Newton's second law of the motion. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. This is also one of the very most important relation which we use for the practical applications. Let me write the Newton's third law over here. So which is very famous, and which says that every action has equal and opposite reaction. So what is the meaning of this? Suppose there is a particle A and there is a particle B. Now suppose if this particle applies some force on this, so equal and opposite force is applied by the another particle on the first particle. For example, sun is there. Sun is applying some force on the earth, then similarly earth will also apply equal and opposite force on the sun. Or you can say if there is a nucleus and nucleus is applying some sort of a force on the electrons, electron will also apply equal and opposite force on the nucleus. So proton is there and neutron is there. So this, if the proton is applying some force on the neutron is also applying the same equal and opposite force on the proton also. So this law, Newton's third law of the motion, is applicable everywhere. Like this is a gravitational force. So this is the Coulombic force. And this is a nuclear force. Okay, so it is applicable everywhere, in every motion, in mechanics, everywhere. So this is the third law, which says that every action has equal and opposite reaction, which means that if a particle applies one force on another particle, the another particle will also apply the equal and opposite force on the first particle. So let us see the proof of the Newton's third law, which says that every action has equal and opposite reaction. Suppose there is a particle A and this is a particle B. So let us call the force applied on this particle A by B as F into FAB. Okay, these are the subscripts FAB, and FBA is a force applied on particle B by the particle A. Okay, now if I try to write the Newton's second law for this particle, so this FAB will be equal to dPAB upon dt, and the Newton's second law for the second particle will be FBA is equal to dPBA upon dt. Now if I add these two, so FAB plus FBA is equal to dP of AB plus dP of BA upon dt, or I can write PAB plus PBA upon dt. Means if the external force applied on the particle, okay, if there is no external force is acting on the system of these two particles, then this dP upon dt will be equal to 0. Therefore I can write, so this FAB is equal to FBA minus FBA. Okay, which proves that so every action has equal and opposite reaction. So this F force applied by this particle A is exactly equal and opposite to the force applied by this particle B.